Now there's about a handful or two different dividend ETFs I've been adding like crazy in 2025, and a few more names I'm going to be focusing on adding a lot more before the end of the year. In this video, I'm going to share with you 7 of my favorite ETFs that I do plan on buying a lot more throughout October, and I'm going to share with you guys every single reason why, etc. All to say that if you want to go through these ETFs with me, definitely stick around, drop a like down below, and let's get right into it. My A to Z dividend investing ebook has already helped countless dividend investors get started with their journey, and my custom dividend tracker, the one I use all the time on my videos, has also helped so many investors stay organized and has actually helped them see their dividend income grow. Well, today I have something even better for you guys. When you click the first link down below in my description and you grab my A to Z dividend investing ebook, today you're not only going to get the ebook, but you're also going to be getting the custom dividend tracker, which you can use to track your own dividend income ongoingly, get direct access to my personal email where you guys can email me any questions regarding dividend investing. You're also going to receive a link to view all of my holdings inside my 7-figure dividend portfolio and see all the positions I add and take away ongoingly. And you're going to get for absolutely free my brand new high yield dividend investing ebook, where I show you the power of maximizing some of these high yielding ETFs and teach you everything there is to know about that also. This is going to be your one shot to grab everything inside of one single bundle, but you got to move quick because I'm not going to offer this for long. Now with all that, let's get back into the video. The first of 7 ETFs I plan on buying a lot more of throughout October is going to be QDVO, the Amplify CWP Growth and Income ETF, an ETF that I've been talking about a lot more of as of recently, and I've been buying it basically since it started trading. This ETF offers a ton of capital appreciation, and then secondarily is going to seek high current income. The distribution rate as of right now is around 12%. So although this ETF does offer a lot of capital appreciation because of its underlying holdings, which I'm going to share with you right here. Because this ETF also utilizes a cover call strategy on individual stocks, this ETF has been paying investors like myself anywhere from 10, 11, 12% per year. Now, the reason I want to personally add more QDVO ASAP is that I want exposure to some of these high-tech names that I do think have some more growth potential in 2025 and beyond. Especially with lower interest rates, I do think we're going to see some more lift with some of these growth names, so I'm going to be buying a ton more QDVO in 2025. The next ETF I plan on buying a lot more in October and beyond is going to be the NEOS NASDAQ 100 High Income ETF QQQY, an ETF that offers NASDAQ 100 exposure but through a high income strategy. This ETF offers around a 14-15% yield, so you are getting a lot of income generation with this one. And although I do have a ton of QQQY already in my portfolio, I do want to have more and more NASDAQ 100 exposure as time goes on. As of recently, I've been leaning a little bit more towards adding even more NASDAQ 100 exposure than S&P 500, even though the S&P 500 is a little bit lower beta, so it does match a little bit closer to what I'm looking for. But with ETFs like this one, you are going to get that NASDAQ 100 exposure, and you're going to get that high income generation of around 60 cents per share per month, so it doesn't take long at all if you're stacking a share here or there to really see your income grow significantly. Now, speaking of NASDAQ 100, I also want to add some GPIQ. I've been holding on this one for a while now, and I haven't added too much of it just because it's been so pricey as of recent. But this ETF once again offers NASDAQ 100 exposure, but through a high income strategy. The cool thing about this ETF is that it provides exposure to the NASDAQ, but then dynamically sells call options. So with this ETF, there is going to be a lot more upside, at least potentially compared to lots of the other income-oriented NASDAQ 100 ETFs. Now, if we see a pullback in the market, I would love to add a lot more GPIQ to my portfolio, but until then, I'm going to be adding another share or two here and there until we see that. The next ETF I plan on adding a lot more of is MAGY, the MAG 7 Covered Call ETF. This ETF offers you exposure to the MAG 7, which are 7 different stocks with high implied volatilities. But then utilizing the covered call strategy, this ETF offers around a 30-40% distribution rate. Weekly distributions, which I've been having a ton of fun with as of recently, and because I don't really have much MAG 7 exposure in my long-term portfolio, MAGY has definitely been on the buy list consistently now for several weeks. Now, will something like MAGY ever become a large portion of my portfolio? Absolutely not, but I do want to have at least 1, 2, 3% of my portfolio directly exposed to MAG 7, so MAGY is definitely going to be growing in my portfolio very soon. A few more names to go through. I do want to also add more OMAH, the Vista Shares Target 15 Berkshire Select Income ETF to my portfolio, simply because a lot of the names in OMAH or in BRK.B, the top names like Berkshire Hathaway, Apple, American Express, Bank of America, etc. These are names I don't really have that much exposure to on their own in my portfolio as of right now, even though I do have a ton of Apple stock. But other than that, I do want to add some more exposure to some of these names. And also with OMAH strategy, that 15% targeted distribution rate, that's going to add a ton more monthly income to my portfolio, even with a relatively small amount of money invested. I also want to keep adding more BTCI, the NEOS Bitcoin High Income ETF. I still don't really have that much Bitcoin exposure across all my portfolios, so that 28% yield, that high income generation from Bitcoin's volatility is definitely something I do want to have more and more of in my portfolio. The only main reason I really haven't added a ton more of BTCI as of yet is just because the ETF has been pretty pricey since I started buying it. And I would really love to dollar cost average down, not up, but BTCI is definitely on the buy list and the watch list for October. Last but not least, I want to add more GPIX to my portfolio. I do still want to have a lot of S&P 500 exposure, even though I mentioned earlier, the NASDAQ 100 is becoming a little bit more attractive to me just because that higher beta. When it comes to the premium income ETFs, you're getting a little bit more yield, but still GPIX is an ETF I do hold on to. I've been buying for a while, but I would love to have an opportunity to add a lot more of it in my portfolio if we see a dip in the market and if we see a big dip on S&P 500. So there we have it, guys. Those are 7 different individual dividend paying ETFs I do want to add to my portfolio in October and beyond, for all the reasons I talked about. Now, my longer term goal in 2025, like some of you guys might already know, is to reach a total monthly dividend amount on average of around $10,000 per month. So I do have a ton of buying to do, a ton more stocks and ETFs to add to my portfolio if I want to get there, because again, the end of the year is closing in now. All to say, I recommend you stick around, subscribe, because I'm going to be updating you guys with how this journey goes. I've been dividend investing for almost 10 years now. The end goal is still far from finished, so definitely stick around for that. Now, before I go, I have a question for you guys down below. When it comes to dividend ETFs you're adding into your portfolio, drop some tickers in my comments that I should look into next. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like in it, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.